They were tearing down his house because San Francisco is engaging, as most northern cities now are engaged, in something called urban renewal, which means moving the Negroes out. It means Negro removal. That is what it means. And the federal government is an accomplice to this fact.
In May of 1959, the social fabric of Columbia, Missouri's black community would be torn apart with no recovery. Urban renewal was an advent of the Federal Housing Act of 1949, which ostensibly set out to reform cities with areas deemed to be slums and blighted. When towns drew up which areas to redevelop, the act ultimately enabled the displacement of countless black citizens. This program had sweeping consequences throughout the country. It grazed these communities through eminent domain and forever altered the landscape and economy of countless towns well into the present day. The homes and businesses lost now only exist in the dwindling consciousness of an era in which black business was allowed to thrive, in spite of oppressive segregation. Columbia played no small part in this nationwide movement to root out centers for black communities. In the early 1900s, neighborhoods were segregated, and much of the black population lived north of Broadway in the former Douglas area. For decades, the city chose not to develop common infrastructure there. Most houses, which were usually wooden shacks, went without access to electricity or sewage connections up into the mid-century. Eventually the city, now concerned with its image as a college town, vied to clear these places out. In 1956, the Land Clearance Redevelopment Authority was created, despite failing to pass twice in 1952. It targeted the Douglas neighborhood, the park, school, and the thriving black business district known as Sharp End, the social core of African American life in Columbia. Some businesses were able to relocate in the wake of demolition, but many did not last. Some homeowners, whose houses were seized or condemned, were not eligible for the promised public housing set to replace them. A risk rating system that factored in race under the Homeowners Loan Corporation made many residents ineligible to secure funds for new housing. The social cohesion of Columbia's black populace was disintegrated, ultimately destroying over 300 structures by July of 1966. Far more than what was replenished. The area known as Sharp End, which provided numerous restaurants, barbershops, taverns, and stores, to name a few, stood as a parking lot for decades until 2011, when it became the Fifth and Walnut parking garage. The process of urban renewal decimated Columbia's black community and gave little back. The blight it sought to remove created a new one. This era championed single-use zoning, creating a distinction between residential areas and businesses. These codes make building places where social life thrives, like downtowns, nearly impossible. The landscape of Columbia today is scarred, perhaps permanently, by the racist ambitions of the past.